Oh, goodness. Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. I'll tell you what, it does not stop. Now LeBron James is claiming that he was the face of the NBA as a rookie. And before we get into this, I seen this from Too Raw for TV, Too Raw for Sports, and I just couldn't even, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, this can't be real. And then I thought to myself, it's got to be real because it's not nothing the NBA won't put out. And when I say the NBA, you got to remember, I talk different from everybody else. Okay? This isn't LeBron James saying this stuff. Yes, he's saying this stuff, but he has to do it for the NBA. The NBA is a dying product. It's on its way out, right? Um, it's not producing the ratings. Last year was a disaster. It had the lowest ratings in the regular season. Um, I don't know about all time, but I'm just saying it has some of the lowest ratings in the regular season, the playoffs, the finals, holiday games. It's just been spiraling downhill, and these guys are not making it better. You know, the NBA isn't making it better for themselves, but I don't think truly they can do anything about it. They don't have the men, they don't have the skilled players, the positional players like they did in the past, and I don't think they have the demographic in the United States that they used to have, as far as like Americans really caring about this game of basketball. Yes, they'll always have their core fans. You can look at hockey; they sell out just about every game. They have core fans, but as far as like the viewership, and nobody's watching this trash. It's just not NBA basketball as we remember, right? You just can't have young fans. That's not going to cut it. You got to have young fans and older fans, right? You can't have pretend older fans, like we see with these ex NBA players pretending they're just so they can have a job and have money from the NBA. They're pretending that they're fans of this NBA. But I don't see how you can be fans of this NBA when this new NBA disses you. It disses your past era. So how can you be a fan of this new NBA? MLB isn't dissing their past players to sell the MLB, even though it's I won't even talk about that. Or the NHL or the NFL. They're not dissing their past players that laid the foundation so these guys can make the money they're making today, which I don't think they're making this money. No, I just don't. We've talked about this before. You see these guys putting on makeup and all this crazy stuff when they retire and reading off of scripts and having to say all this dumb stuff to keep the NBA going. I don't think they make this kind of money. I'm not going to break it down, but I just told you that from what I see, they have to do this stuff because they don't have this type of money when they retire. So you've been told that the NBA, these players are making this kind of money so they can keep charging the fans outrageous rates. Like, I don't understand how you can make all this money in these contracts, but nobody's watching this trash. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody's watching this trash. It's ridiculous. Now, do they make millions? Yes, I believe they make millions, but there's no way they make this kind of money that we've been told. So, I can make a whole video on it. And did I make a whole video on it? I'm not sure. Some things you just don't have to make a video on, to prove your point on this. I mean, people got to think with common sense. So let's get into this. Fadeaway World. I saw this because I heard this on Too Raw for TV, and I said, well, go look it up because I really can't believe this guy is actually saying this. But again, he's not saying. People think LeBron is this got an ego. He's a butthole. He says all this stuff to piss people off, and yes, he does. But this guy is reading a script. If you go back and watch my video about him and Kobe being good friends, some people say best friends or whatever like that. They were good friends. This guy has put on a facade ever since he left Miami to be this bad guy, right? In Cleveland, he was the good guy. Everybody in the league knew him as this good guy. He was the funny guy, the good guy. He always wanted to be liked. He never wanted to be hated on. And because he couldn't win in Cleveland, The only way he could fulfill his king status as a winner and be amongst, some of the greats of all time is to go build super teams because he didn't have the killer instinct. He didn't have the Mamba mentality. He when you're going at Shaq and challenging Shaq to get up off his butt to be healthy, taking the challenge and all this stuff. People think that Shaq just won this three-peat by himself, and he was just a driving force. No, Kobe was on top of this dude. Kobe was on top of him the whole time to be better, um, and not be lazy. Kobe was literally pushing this guy when they was playing for LA. It was if Kobe would not never showed up, Shaq would not won maybe not one ring. Kobe was pushing this guy. Yeah, so LeBron was this good guys, and the only way he could start winning and being this king was to be a villain and start super teams. We already did that video, so um, what you guys don't know, you guys are the NBA is a big script. LeBron isn't this bully guy. He's not. To me, Clutch Sports is something driven by the NBA. This is just another storyline for the NBA. That's it. Because if the NBA wanted Clutch Sports gone, they could be gone. You'd never hear nothing about Clutch Sports and Rich Paul and all this stuff. This is a part of the script in the NBA, right? The NBA, when LeBron went to Miami, it became a big, Hollywood type of script, right? It was no longer a real sports league because no commissioner would ever let anything like that happen. No commissioner. Because you're messing up my game. You can't do this. This isn't competitive. But this is what the commissioner wanted. Why did they want these things? Because their NBA was going down the tank as far as ratings. They already knew this. They already knew this. Once Kobe was gone, Kobe wasn't going to play forever. Once, those big threes, Celtics and stuff like that, it was over. Because LeBron, you got to remember, when LeBron and the Spurs played, nobody was watching this. Nobody was watching it. So nobody cared about the king. And I love Duncan, but nobody cared about Duncan. Look, understand this. When Michael Jordan, in back-to-back seasons in 97, 98, played the so-called plumbers with no skills, not athletic, these were the highest ratings, especially 98. But we can say back-to-back highest ratings in NBA history in 97, 98, and 98 was the highest NBA Finals ratings of all time. Some plumbers. Some plumbers. But you're trying to tell me, we're going to get deeper into what he said, but you're trying to tell me right now, 4 years into the league, the face of the league that this guy is claiming he was at 8 in his rookie season, by the time he got to the finals in his 4th year, which is, we'll talk about that later. In his 4th year, he claims he was the face. And then you had Duncan, I don't know, what was his 4th? Yeah, that would be his 4th championship, right? In '07. Nobody wanted to see these guys. Nobody was watching this thing. It was like a ghost town. Nobody was watching. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. The NBA already knew this thing was tanking. Was tanking. Give it to you again. The King and Mr. Fundamental, nobody wanted to see these guys in the finals. Nobody cared. I mean, Jordan playing some plumbers who are not athletic in Utah. What would the ratings triple or something? Could you imagine the Bulls playing the Spurs in the finals? Huh. You guys know I like to ramble, but that's why they call me off script. I'm off script. I don't. They want you to talk about what everybody else is talking about on YouTube. It's the same. Some of it's the same script, and that's why I only listen to certain people, because when you see something like this, this subject right here, a lot of guys will stay on script about what the next guy is talking about, and that ain't the case. The NBA owns LeBron James. The NBA owns all these dummies, Anthony Edwards, and all these dummies that say all this dumb stuff. They have to say it for the NBA. They don't believe LeBron is the greatest player of all time. These guys in this era right here, they have to say it for the NBA. This is money. The little money that they can get in a dying league. So let's talk about it. So this is what it says in Fadeaway World. LeBron James claims he became the face of the NBA when he was 19 years old. Remember, that's his rookie year because he turned 19. What was it? What is it? This I think December. Yeah, December. So that's his rookie season. This is a guy who didn't even make the All-Star team. So in the playoffs, the playoffs is one thing, but you're the face of the league and you didn't even make the All-Star team? Wow. LeBron James spoke about the early years of his career and when he felt he became the face of the NBA while speaking in the Netflix documentary Starting Five. LeBron James noted that he became the face of the NBA when he was 19 or 20. What do you mean 19 or 20? So was it your rookie season or was it your second season? What do you mean 19 or 20? You don't know when you became the face. This is really. Did you forget your NBA script or what? I mean, he's saying 19, but he's saying, let's make it 20 because I didn't make the All-Star team and I got curb stomped in the Olympics my rookie season. I don't know if I'm going to read all this. Pretty much when he entered the league. So he's saying pretty much when he entered the league, he was a face of the. Let me clear up something real quick. LeBron James was not the first player to enter the NBA out of high school. He just wasn't. He was amongst many in the past to enter the NBA out of high school, right? So he wasn't the most hyped player to come into the NBA with the most expectations. You know what he was? When we talk about high school and college, he was the most hyped high school player to enter the NBA. What was the expectations? I don't understand these expectations. No, I don't remember people saying he's going to be the greatest of all time. Nobody. I don't remember anybody saying that. All I heard was he was the most hyped coming out of high school. That's it. He wasn't the most hyped coming into the NBA. For me, when I look back at it, Wilt Chamberlain was the most hyped player coming into the NBA, hands down, and he met all those expectations, all of them. There's never been a rookie greater than Wilt Chamberlain. It's not even close. So if we want to say look down the line, and we say to me, after that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, these are the guys I would say that had the most hype coming into the NBA, and that's just because of what they did in college, right? When we talk about college, you're playing the best of high school players from around the nation. And what did they do in college? They proved how great they were against the best of high school players. So to me, those players, Wilt Chamberlain, you could say Bill Walton's in there too. Let me see. I said Magic Johnson, Bird. LeBron was not the most hyped player coming into the NBA of all time. He was the most hyped high school player. And it's a difference because in high school, you're playing against the best of the guys in the state. Your state, those aren't the best high school players in the nation, right? They're not the best high school players in the nation. And most of the time, you're not even playing like all the entire guys in the state until you get to the tournament. A lot of times, you're just playing regional guys, in your region. So for LeBron James, he was playing, in an academy school. He really wasn't playing nobody. He was dunking on a whole bunch of nobodies in academy school, in college. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. He wasn't the most hyped player coming in. I mean that's just ludicrous. And then they go on. I'm not gonna read this entire article. It's just nonsense. We've heard enough from that point. But it just goes on to tell how he got the keys. He was a cornerstone when he first came into the league, as a Cavalier, and then he would eventually take them to the finals and lose, but he had no help. The fact that these people like Fadeaway, World would just lie. What do you mean this guy didn't have any help? How did he get to the? When you say these things, you expose how weak his era really is. How can you get to the finals with no help and you lose in the finals? So now you had no. Could you imagine they saying that about Michael Jordan? That Mike had no help when he got beaten. So everybody who got beat in the finals had no help. You can't. Let's break down his finals, his kind of finals run. When they say this guy had no help, when they talking about he didn't have no All Star teammate that year, no Hall of Fame teammate. I think he had no All NBA teammate. I think Larry Hughes, he might have been defensive, and no top 75 teammate, right? So what does that tell you right off top? He went through the East and made it to the finals with none of those none of his teammates having any of those accolades. It tells you how weak, how weak that era in the West, the East really was. The East was that weak. So you think anybody in the West could make it to the finals, their star player, with no Hall of Fame teammate, no All Star teammate, no top 75 teammate? Really? Okay. Do you think Michael Jordan, because they try to use this line, I don't know if they want to use, one time they want to use years, it, and then they want to use age. So which one is it, years or age? Where are we at on that? Okay, let's go to age. So Michael Jordan at 22, what was he playing? Yeah, he was playing the Celtics, I think, in coming off that broken foot. So in 86, you're telling me Michael Jordan, with no All Star teammate, no Hall of Fame teammate, no All NBA teammate, is going through the East and making it to the finals? Yeah, this is the nonsense. Let's go 4 years, right? So it would be 86, 87, 88, 89. So you're trying to tell me in 89 Michael Jordan is getting to the finals with no All-Star teammate and no Hall of Fame teammate. Well, I guess you could say Pippen, right? Since you guys say Pippen was the greatest thing since sliced bread to come into the league, right? So that would be Pippen's second year where he got destroyed by the Pistons. No, those guys in the 80s, right? From when Michael Jordan stepped into the league, right, in the East, those guys in the East had 3 to 5 Hall of Famers on one team. 3 to 5 Hall of Famers on one team. 3 to 5. So how was it LeBron James had no help and made it all the way to the finals? And this story could have been somewhat true if the guy would have not have pooped his pants. Poopy pants when he got to the finals. 22 points a game, 35% from the field, like 20 something percent from three. Um, what was it, like 69% from the line? Almost 6 turnovers a game. Remember, this is the face of the NBA. So at this point, if you did something like this, once you got to the finals and you're the face of the league, or we don't have to take LeBron James' lie, we could just say the future face of the league, if this guy did this in '07, putting up these kind of stats and percentages in the finals, and this guy is the new face of the league in the future, it's over. It's over. What do they think? People are dumb? Yes, LeBron fans are dumb, but NBA fans are not dumb. This was one of the biggest meltdowns. Hey, we saw 2011. A lot of people talk about that more because this guy taunted the NBA. But remember, this is what he was supposed to do. He was on a script, right? He couldn't. We talked about this. He couldn't win just playing with one Hall of Fame player. He could have just, got one Hall of Fame player, whatever like that. He still couldn't do it. So he had to build these super teams. So he was on the script right then. NBA was over. As soon as he went to Miami, no commissioner would let any star player of their league do anything like that. Let me give it to you again. They wouldn't let Michael Jordan do nothing like that. Talk about not one, not two, not three. Nobody would. How about Tom Brady? How about Tom Brady go get the best receivers in the league? Yes, he got Randy Moss 1 year. Randy Moss, he was good that year. I don't think Randy Moss was in his prime, right? And they set records that year. But I'm just saying that's only one receiver. Brady would. They didn't win a Super Bowl. Brady was able to win 7 Super Bowls with basically, I don't know, these weren't Hall of Fame receivers. But in no other game would a commissioner let the star player um, do these type of things. And over again too, when he went to Cleveland. He didn't taunt the NBA, but he basically did, right? He had that big show when he told Cleveland, I'm back, and he had this big old announcement. Sound like he was drunk. Remember we did that video? Sound like he was drunk or on drugs or whatever like that. So he's always been making these big announcements and making a show because I told you what this is. It's not a real league no more. It's a show. These players have to say all this dumb stuff to keep this league. I'm telling you, if these players just played basketball, right, and didn't say nothing, it's over. Nobody's watching this crap. Go back to '07. Nobody was watching these guys. They're boring. They're boring. LeBron isn't this exciting player that people think he is. It's all promoted within like Hollywood to make him seem like he's saying these things, doing these things, pulling these strings. He's not. He's not that type of guy. He's not this mean guy. He isn't, just he's not this ruler that people listen to him. Listen to him. Nobody's scared of LeBron James. It's a script that the NBA has to come out with to tell you guys, or the media had to tell you guys that LeBron is this type of guy. He's not this mean guy. He doesn't pull strings like this. This is the NBA. This is the NBA's hand. LeBron has no power. I hate to hurt a lot of people's feelings. LeBron has no power. There's people behind the scenes pulling strings of what's next to be said by NBA players, by LeBron James, what his next move is going to be. These guys need to keep making money. Because remember, this guy's career is over. This guy's 40 years old. They have nobody else to promote. This is sad. Look at the overall picture. There's no promotion of nobody else as the next. That means their league is in trouble. Remember, they're scrambling. It's going to be Anthony Edwards. Remember, that's why they got rid of Cat, because they need to get Anthony Edwards going in this next Michael Jordan comparison, but it's basically too late. Remember, this guy got benched. He lost in the 2023 FIBA, and then LeBron came and built another team and put Anthony Edwards on the bench. Imagine Michael Jordan coming off the bench at 23 years old for a turnover king. Wow. A guy who has limited handles, a guy who has no shooting skills, only can bully, especially a 40-year-old. That would be unheard of. That Michael Jordan would have to take a back seat to that at 22 years. Wow. You just can't. Some of these things, you just laugh at it. And now this new thing, LeBron was the face of the league. The face of the league is pretty popular, right? Face of the league is usually when you prove yourself, right? I mean, so the face of the league didn't even make the All-Star team? You imagine Magic Johnson not making the All-Star team, and he was the face of the NBA? Just imagine how weak this NBA really was, right? Let's say this guy was getting all this hype coming into the NBA. Let's just say he was, like they say he was the biggest hype coming into the NBA. Bigger than all Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wills. He was bigger than all these people. For what, though? We still can't figure out what. Doing layups and dunks on academy school kids. What was the hype? What expectations did you have after you were dunking on academy school kids? And that really exposes how weak that era, him going into the NBA, was. That they was giving a high school kid that was dunking on academy school kids all this hype. Not because, oh man, that dude can shoot the mid range like Michael Jordan. That dude is on fire at 3 point range. Good, great free throw shooter. I mean, they pretty much put a dagger on Michael Jordan, right? After all that he did in the Olympics, beat NBA players in scrimmage games, all that he did in college. I mean, countless awards. I mean, his awards is just, I don't even know how Sam Bowie was picked number one, but they still, oh, Michael Jordan couldn't shoot, man. We don't think he could shoot. What did he do his rookie year? He was killing it out there. They were like, oh, shoot, I guess 50% from the field as a guard. What do you mean he can't shoot? I mean, everything that they said Michael Jordan was suspect about, he destroyed all of that talk. Michael Jordan destroyed all that talk. Oh, you can't shoot. I just, oh boy, this, when is this guy gonna retire, man? I mean, I don't think the NBA is as good as the 2000s. Definitely not the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s, but at least if this guy could retire, we could get back to maybe these guys want to be competitive, right? They can't be competitive when you have a guy in the league, and the league has to be scripted for this guy to keep playing. Right? When you hear the preseason games and you just the play by play guys got to keep saying the same stuff. At 40 years old, we can't believe he's doing this in a preseason game. You can't believe he's doing this in a preseason game. Wow. And remember, when the ish hits the fan, they're gonna go back and say, "Oh, we were saying this. We can't believe he's still doing this at 40 and 39 and blah blah blah. We were saying it was impossible. We were saying we can't believe he's still doing this at this age, but we were saying we've never seen this because we didn't think it was possible, and we kind of knew he was on something." Remember? They're going to go back and say this, watch. They're going to say, oh, we weren't saying good things about it. We were just saying we don't understand how physically he was doing this. It just wasn't possible. We were, questioning it. Watch how they backtrack. They're going to like walk backwards on this thing. Watch. You guys made all this money off a 4-6 loser, a meltdown artist, a super team jumper, a guy who can't shoot the mid range, can't shoot the three, can't shoot the free throws, ain't got no paint work. And you guys, these are the guys on ESPN, Fox Sports, Fade Away, all these dummies that's trying to tell you about basketball. But when you watch the rest of the league, I'm not going to try to say it's the best I ever seen, but all these other guys, your Kyries, your Lukas, I would say just about all the stars, even Joel Embiid, SGA, all these guys have real basketball skills, right? They can shoot the mid range, the three, shoot free throws, um, all this stuff. Some of them have paint work, got good handles. What does LeBron James really have besides barreling to the basket? And we can say the same as when he was in the league back in the day in the 2010s, the 2000s. When we look at some of these great players that really possess either positional skills. It's hard for me to say positional skills because the positional players pretty much went out when LeBron James came in, right? Because they had to accommodate him eventually because he has no positional skills. He wants to be this face up dude with the ball, but he has no real consistent jumper, right? It's just barreling to the basket. And as the league got smaller, he got bigger. Nobody knows why he got bigger and the league got smaller. Wow. Why? Why would you get bigger if there's no big guys to go against? Well, if you only have one skill driving to the basket on smaller guys, you're gonna win the battle. And if they cut out defense, like they did in 2005, you're going to win the battle. Plus, you need you need the league on your side. On top of that, so you're going to win the battle on that. So guys, I just I see all this stuff from a there. It's kind of like, okay, if social media really didn't respond to this GOAT debate, LeBron versus Michael Jordan, it would be over for LeBron James, and it might be over for the league, right? Say if Jordan fans didn't respond, you see this stuff on these Facebook groups, you see this stuff on YouTube. If we didn't respond to any of this nonsense and we just took Michael Jordan as the GOAT, it's over for the NBA. It's over for LeBron. It's over because you already know if you go to these Facebook groups and you post something about LeBron James hating on him, very little LeBron fans will comment or say anything, right? But when they post something hating on Jordan, a lot of Jordan fans respond, right? And that's what keeps them going the next day, right? That's what keeps their post going and people seeing their post because Jordan fans, they will keep responding. But if they stop responding, it's over. Because the LeBron fans, they know it's no GOAT debate. Nobody's this dumb. And even if you took away all accolades, all this talk, and just look at the players on the court, there's no comparison. If we just took away all accolades, all this stuff, and we said, look at LeBron James, the footage against Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain, guys of this, Steph Curry. Just look at these guys on court play, on how they play basketball. It's over. It's not even no comparison. It's not even no comparison. Who is better? Right? Shooting, defense, fundamentally sound, all this stuff. LeBron isn't better than these guys I just mentioned. And even more. Just don't have time to sit up here and name them all. What you're seeing, and we talked about this before, what you're seeing is the opposite of what the media is telling you. And what we have is people like Stephen A. Smith, people like Nick Wright, people like Shannon Sharp. The only reason why you even believe these guys about LeBron James is because they do tell the truth about other things in sports, right? So if they was just lying about this guy and lying about the rest of the stuff they talked about, people would just ignore him. But because they can lie about this guy and tell the truth about other subjects, you guys think they're being serious about LeBron James. And you got to remember, they work for the NBA in a sense, right? They bought the rights to the NBA, so they have to sell the NBA. They know if they don't keep selling this guy, the league isn't going to make that money. If they didn't sell this guy from whatever point, they've been lying for this guy, especially since 2011, because they were bamming on him before that. He's just been lying. He's just been lying. They already know. The NBA is a dying product. And I'll tell you that when they brought in Bronny James, it's an insult to all past NBA, well, NBA fans who watch past NBA, right? This is an insult to them. They're outraged. They're like, what? And it's not even no benefit of the doubt. Like, man, we bringing in Magic Johnson's son. He was a winner. He did everything right. Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant's son. I know Kobe ain't got no sons, but I'm just saying, in the sense that guys who were beloved, did it right, were winners, did choke and melt down, all this stuff, and then hop around and all. We're bringing in their sons. So we'll be like, okay, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And their son is just going to maybe come in and just play. But again, with LeBron James, it's always been a circus. And now his son is a circus. It's not just playing. So if LeBron was a winner, he did everything right, blah, 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 he didn't team hop, whatever. Didn't melt down, didn't choke, wasn't saying all the stupid stuff. And his son came in, this really wouldn't even be a big deal. It wouldn't. Because we would all know LeBron as a guy who did it right, a winner, amongst the top five and all this stuff, it really wouldn't be a big deal. But because it's the opposite, now his son is in the mix after LeBron has failed so many times in his career. And it's just ridiculous. They're making a mockery out of a professional sports league, which is the NBA, which used to be one of the greatest sports leagues. Um, but now it's not. Making a mockery of it. So when Kobe Bryant came in, he could not be the face of the league. That's how. Even a lot of these guys were like at the end of the road in the '90s. Kobe still couldn't come in and dominate because of the effort, because of the actual style of basketball. These men play like men. I was telling sports and fitness friends, was it yesterday? I said, when you watch '80s and '90s basketball, you see the effort on the defensive side. And then on the offensive side, you see all the movement, right? You see coaches screaming at players on the court. You see coaches screaming at players when they come back. When somebody subs in and the guy comes back to the bench, the coach is screaming at him. I'm not saying every time, but when you miss an assignment, you don't do something right on the court, this guy's screaming in the huddle. Could you imagine these coaches today actually being real coaches? They don't do nothing like that today. You never even see a coach get mad at a player in their face. These aren't real coaches. We talked about it before. What offense is they running? The triangle, the Princeton. What is it? Four guys sitting at the three-point line on both teams. What offense is that? You're running the same offense as the same coach around the whole damn league. That's what all the coaches. These aren't real coaches. These are coaches for this league that turned into entertainment, or a league that turned into pure entertainment. It's not a real sports league. It's not a real sports league. People can say what they want on YouTube. It's not a real sports league. A real sports league doesn't conduct itself like they're doing. They're saying the same stuff every single year about some gold debate about this and that, and this ain't a real sports league. And until they show it, it's not a real sports league. This ain't what you do. You don't diss your past players, your past product, your great players of all time, just to say you're great because you have nothing, nothing that proves that when nobody's watching it. The people have spoken. They don't like how you're performing. They don't like your style of basketball. They don't think you're all that great. But you're telling the people you're getting record-breaking contracts. Only an idiot believes this stuff.